The over 126 state-owned enterprises have been valued to the tune of 110 billion Ghana cedis between the year 2020. That is about 27% of the total GDP of the year 2020. But let's look at how they have been faring over the years. According to the Ghana State Enterprise Report, the profit and losses made within the period can be attributed to some factors. It says the State Ownership Report for 2019 and 2020 published by government, which covers all state-owned enterprises, that is SOEs, joint ventures and other state entities, all of them cumulatively between the year of 2015-2020. We will look at the data to that effect shortly. And as of now, the combined profit or losses from these state enterprises and joint ventures as well as other state entities who are dominantly authoritative in nature, they are authorities and ventures. Now, in 2015, the companies cumulatively, by the data they provided, they did not provide that data, but they made total losses of 543.2 million Ghana cedis. And in 2016, companies covered, that is 18 companies, submitted their financial report, and out of it, they made a profit of 1.44 billion. That was in 2016. That was when we saw state enterprises making profit. In 2017, we saw losses of 2.31 billion. There has been conversations that how are we managing our state-owned enterprises and how much are they making? Also, experts have been calling whether they should be restored or given to private entities to manage. But let's look at from 2015, some losses also consisted up to 2021. But let's speak with an economist who is currently joining us on Zoom. He's the finance and economic consultant with the and also an IMF fellow, King Carl Tonam Dohu. Good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat.
Good afternoon, Winston.
Great. Now, looking at the amount of losses these state enterprises cumulatively make over the years, what does this say of its structure and management?
Yeah, so for us to actually understand what we are saying by state-owned enterprises per the report, there are four key categories. One is the SOEs, which are the state-owned enterprises that are 100% owned by the government. And then we also have the JVCs, which is more of the joint ventures, which are also entities that the government has invested in, but it has kind of either a majority or a minority stake in it. We also have the OSEs, which is the other state enterprises, which are those regulatory and then the various authorities. The last category is the minority interest entities, which are the entities that government have less than 10% ownership in them. And over time, what we have seen is that government entities tend not to perform well. But the point is that their performance have fiscal impact on the budget that we have, because if they make loss, that eats into their equity, and the government have to shore up that equity. And that is why various analysts, and we have been calling that these entities to be run in a kind of efficient and effective manner. For state-owned enterprises, the focus is not always to make more profits as such, but if the entity can be run in an effective and efficient way, we should be able to have some good cost efficiency, revenue efficiency, which will lead into some profit efficiency, and we should be able to run them in such a way that they should be able to be financing some of the other new projects that government is having.
The report also revealed that the SOEs made an average loss of 526 million per year. What do you say of costs for them to be sold to private enterprises? And if so, will they manage it differently from what is being reported?
Yeah, so the point is that for these entities, when they are sold to private enterprises, the implication, the managerial approach that will be used in such cases will be different. When we are talking about these entities, we are talking about ECG, and a lot of people had light out yesterday and this morning across the country in some places. The implication of this is that some of these services are utilities that private businesses are not so much interested in, and what it means is that there will be high prices of delivering some of these services to the citizenry, and the government wants to provide some of these services. But then what we have to do is to ensure that there is efficiency and effectiveness, because even if the private entities have to come in to be engaged in some of these entities, what they are coming in is to be able to cut the waste to reduce the waste, to ensure that there is effectiveness, there is efficiency, and then there is a kind of a data-driven managerial approach in what these entities do. So, and then another thing is that the loss that we are looking at is kind of disaggregated. There are some of the entities that are having a bit of a break-even kind of performance. Some of them are having profits. Some of them are having losses. But overall, we are seeing that there is a loss overall, and there's a need to work on some of this. And there are various things that have to look at